You see him every night on your TV screens at 6 and 10, but today we're pulling him away from the prompter, took his tie away as well for some time right here on QCL.
We are talking about none other than TV6's Will Ingalls, who is joining us in the QCL studio right now, not far from the news studio.
Yeah.
We're happy that you're here.
Yeah, happy to be here. So casual, like you mentioned, no tie. I didn't know I was allowed.
It feels great, doesn't it? It feels like you're airing yourself out.
Yeah.
Yes, nice and comfortable and casual. Yeah, like
well,
you said.
welcome to QCL. And you know what? You may have seen him, and he had to remind me. He was when we were doing our America's Got Talent producer show during Alternating Currents. We needed somebody for the magician.
That's right.
And you were that person.
You stepped up.
A magical debut.
You stepped up. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You already helped us out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. You are actually an Augustana grad.
Yes. So born and raised in Rockford. We were joking before we came on here. Big rock guy because I went from Rockford to Rock Island. Yeah, I remember going to a football game on a visit. It was late fall game. It was a night game, so the sun was setting and they had the national anthem. And the way that Augustana is built into that hill, the national anthem just kind of echoed up. And I just remember I was like, man, this feels like home. And I feel like that's kind of like one of the big things. And little did I know that I was like, yeah, we're gonna make it home again in a few years. And great to be back.
Yeah, because you went back to Rockford for a time.
Yes, went back to Rockford, interned at WREX, and then after I graduated from Augustana, and very fortuitous, I guess, because I knew I was going back to work at WREX, also an NBC station, much like KWQC.
Right.
And so my graduation cap was had the NBC logo on it.
Awesome.
And it was
that's cool.
So it still tracks.
Yeah, there it is
right
Hey,
there.
what do you know?
Speaking of,
That's cool.
Yes, I'm not a big arts and crafts guy, so I'm happy that turned out as well.
So you made that?
Yes, I did do
That's
that.
impressive. Good job.
Yes, and I quit my arts and crafts career pretty much directly
We're going to have you back on the show for some arts and crafts.
No, goodness
Me and
gracious.
Morgan can learn a thing.
Yeah.
No. This is not a comedy show, and that's what it would quickly turn into
Honestly,
if we're doing arts and crafts.
Yes, it is. So you mentioned that you came back to the Quad Cities. I mean, the Quad Cities has a way of sucking us all back in, so we always come back. But you mentioned you're from Rockford, so big Illinois guy, big Chicago sports fan.
Yes, big Chicago sports fan. Don't quite live and die with the Chicago Bears, but if you noticed on Mondays if the Bears win, I will always go blue and orange. I call it.
Oh, I did not notice. I've always noticed your big.
Yes. I definitely wear it on my sleeve a little bit. I call it Victory Monday, though. So yes, that's if the Bears win, which in the past few years hasn't been too incredibly often. So I guess maybe we'll see whether or not I'm wearing a lot of orange on Mondays.
You're at Soldier Field.
No, that's actually I will call it Miller Park, even though it's American Family Field now.
I see.
Yeah, that was at a Brewers game, I believe, for a friend's bachelor party. So I'm actually, of all the Chicago sports teams that I like, the Chicago Cubs. Yes, I'm a Reds fan. Yeah, Dad was an Army brat, and so his dad passed away when he was 13, and one of the few memories that they had together was going to a Cubs game at Wrigley Field, but it was the Big Red Machine, a historically amazing Reds team, and my dad always likes to go against the grain a little bit, so he was rooting for the Reds, and when he told me that story, I was like, well, that's better than I live next to Chicago, and yeah, that's my family there, and our old dog Jack. When I played football at Augustana. So when he told me that story, I was like, yeah, that's better than just living near Chicago. But unfortunately, the Reds are almost as historically dreadful as the Cubs.
Well, that's okay.
You got to support them.
You gotta support who you're going to support. But I'm with you. I'm a big Chicago teams gal. So I'll be cheering with you.
Yes.
The Bears, the Blackhawks, the Bulls, but the Cubs. The Cubs for me.
Yes, the Cubs for me as well. But the Bears for me only because of my dad as well. I wouldn't be a kid if I rooted for someone else.
I inherited it. I'm sorry, I inherited it. So yeah, talk a little bit more. You have a pet?
Yes. You saw Jack, a golden doodle. That is Henry.
Oh,
that
look
is
at
Henry.
him.
Oh, what a great photo.
Yes, when the that's
oh my gosh, look at his corn.
He's so cute.
Yes, he is adorable.
I want to go squeeze him.
So that first, yes, he's a big old stuffed animal. So that first picture was when the Northern Lights were visible. That was taken in Rockford, and I was out late with some friends. Yeah, there and. I think this is at like 4 in the morning because it was like when it was most visible out there.
Yeah.
And he had to imagine it's just like, oh, Dad finally is home. And I'm like, Henry outside, we got to take pictures.
He probably loved it.
He had a good time. He was a very good model because
you have photogenic.
You have to amp the exposure up because if you just take a quick picture, you don't catch all those beautiful colors in the background. So
yeah, you're right.
So he stayed still for 4 or 5 seconds at a time, which was about the first 4 or 5 seconds I've seen him sit still.
I love that.
It turned out
And you're
great.
also engaged.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes. Found the love of my life at Augustana, and she is.
It all started in the Quad Cities.
Yes, she is from the Quad Cities. Went to Rock Island High School, so that is at the tree farm where I proposed to her.
Oh, really?
So ironically named Williams Tree Farm. That's in Rockton. Big rock guy again.
Rockton, Illinois.
Your tree farm?
No, it is not my tree farm, but my family's gone there since I was a little kid. Christmas is a huge family tradition, and figured that that was the appropriate place to do it because
So
that's usually
Taylor.
Yes, that is Taylor. And
oh my goodness.
yes, very excited. Our wedding's a little more than a year from now, so October 25th, 2025.
So big life changes for you. Make the big move back to the Quad Cities. Now you're going to get married, and it sounds like you're putting some roots here.
We're so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. It's been so wonderful. I mean, it's been, everyone here has been great. Everyone, around the Quad Cities, it's a place that, not only loves the station, but, really appreciates good news and journalism, and no shortage of it here at TV6.
Awesome.
You've done some great works with our investigative team as well.
You.
So you can watch William Monday through Friday on TV6 News at 6 and 10 o'clock in the evening. That's alongside Sharon DeReek.
Yes.
And you can also be sure to give William a like and a follow on Facebook. Just search William Ingalls TV. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I unfortunately got to put the tie back on next time I
get back to work.
We will see you at 6 p.m. And thank you so much for watching today.
Your News at 4 with Sharon DeReek is coming up next. Have a great evening.